Hey, welcome to another episode of The Heroes You Deserve. I'm Henry.
I'm Mike.
I'm Richard.
And we're bringing back
Fidel.
Special guest from last time. We had so much fun. We brought him back for this episode.
With the same shirt.
With the same shirt.
Yeah.
Disregard.
No, this is for continuity, believe me.
Yeah, we told him, bring back the shirt, bring back the cap.
New beer.
Make sure it looks
Right.
Just keep it continuity.
I mean, he's going to
Richard didn't change either.
I didn't know.
He's going to grow his beard for the next one.
Yeah.
So we are going to review the Wonder Woman trailer, the first full-length trailer for the Wonder Woman movie, and we all just watched it right now. We refreshed our memories about it, and we're ready to discuss. So I'm going to just start off with Richard. Richard, first impressions of the trailer. First impression.
It looks like a.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Mike
Hated it.
Hated it.
No. First impression. What do you think?
I think this movie looks like a film about superheroes, as opposed to it being a superhero movie.
Elaborate.
There are some shots in there that look like as good as anything from Gladiator or from. I mean, it looks the direction, the way it was filmed, the directing, the locations, just the feel of the film quality. It looks like a film.
It feels very much like Zack Snyder because there's a lot of slow-mo in it.
There is some slow-mo, and I'm sure that's a nod to Snyder. I mean, he is still kind of shepherding some of these characters. He did cast Gal Gadot, but just the look of it, it looks like a film. It doesn't look like a comic book movie, and it's a very good quality to it. The periodness of it, the 1920s, the 1918s of it. The visuals look stunning. The islands, the color, it looks very good. I mean, I can't say that much about the movie itself because we haven't seen the movie, but just the look of it, it's very slick and it looks very well directed.
What would you say? I mean, just to offer two perspectives here. What would you say would be a negative of this trailer, if any?
Some of the CGI still needs work. There is definitely. I mean, obviously, the movie's not coming out until June, so we still need about 7 more months.
Wow.
So there's still
Post.
a lot of posts still that needs to be going into this, and we really haven't seen a whole lot of it. A lot of the sequences, as like the forest, they were just cut and edited in out of order. There was a couple of other sequences. If you just take out all the sequences, we really haven't seen a whole lot of it. I'm not saying that's a negative, but they're working as fast as they can, obviously. So some of the CGI still looks like it needs some cleaning up.
Okay.
But, all of it looks very interesting. The look of the villain, who I'm assuming is Dr. Poison. Well, that's the only one we're officially being told. I'm sure there's another villain.
What do we know about Dr. Poison?
Lurking under the shadows.
That's a new one to me.
Is that her Lex Luthor?
Dr. Poison is probably an obscure character in the Wonder Woman lore. And to be fair, she doesn't have very well-known villains. That's my...
To be fair.
He just said the magic word.
Yes.
There aren't very many well-known... Yeah, her rogues gallery isn't very well-known.
I think Cheetah would be her Joker.
That's sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Another
accurate.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that at least I recognize, but the Dr. Poison is...
Obscure.
You gotta dig deep. I mean, I think that pretty much stumps you even.
Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't know who that was until I read that it was supposed to be Dr. Poison. I'm like, okay. I think Dr. Poison was a man originally, or was it always a woman?
I'm not sure. A lot of Wonder Woman's villains were doctors, like Dr. Cyber, Dr. Poison. And
Dr. Finger.
Yeah, Dr. Finger, too. Dr. Motorfinger. Mike, first impressions of the trailer? What do you think?
I like that it's a period piece. I really do dig that it's set in World War I and seems to really, really embrace the time period.
Yeah, that looked good and accurate of the time.
It does, and I will parrot a little bit of what Richard said in that it doesn't feel like it needed to be a strictly superhero film. It seems like a period fantasy piece that happened to be including Wonder Woman, which is super cool. I mean, that's sort of how you want.
You can arguably watch half the trailer and not know that it's about Wonder Woman.
Right.
Yeah, if I didn't tell you,
it just looks like a really cool movie. Like, wow, what's this movie?
Okay, look, a World War I movie with some sort of supernatural elements to it.
Hacksaw Ridge 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a conscientious objection to any kind of violence at all, because they seem pretty okay with it.
Even though she is a conscientious objector herself.
Yeah. In a way, yeah.
In a way, she is.
Yeah, she was. She
Really?
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally.
Explain.
But even though she's an Amazon, she's very much anti-violence. She's all about the peaceful way of.
Well, but it also has this isolationist view that the Amazons have, where they've just kind of cut themselves off from man's world.
Yeah, Legends of the Amazon go back to them being even a threat, or is on the same level of combatant as a Spartan. You know.
Yes.
Right.
So so to see them, I like that one battle scene in the trailer where maybe it's going to give you some background, not necessarily just what pisses her off with that bullet scene, but a little history of what people will know of where Wonder Woman actually comes from.
Right.
Right. Mike, what would you say?
Makes it
Just
seem more like a movie.
the same question asked Richard. What would you say would be a negative of this trailer, if any?
It's a trailer.
Sure.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to dislike
Sure.
about a trailer. It does its purpose. It tells me what I should expect from the film, but I don't really know what the story's about. I don't know why Chris Evans is involved.
Who? Chris Pine?
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude too. Chris Pine even.
The love interest.
He is, yeah. Steve Trevor is very well
Yeah.
known.
You
as, the love interest.
playing that familiar trope.
Is that missing from comics, book, movies?
Romance?
Yeah.
Well, I think
Arguably.
and interestingly though, in this one, it'll be interesting to see how they do this. Trevor is really not just a love interest though. I mean, he really sort of is like her equal. Like they're more like a team as opposed to like a love interest. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
And so we may actually be seeing a different dynamic here, because typically you have the guy hero with like the love interest waiting for her.
Mary Jane.
The Mary Janes and the Fosters and all of these characters that are women, even to an extent Rachel McAdams' character in Doctor Strange, that are just kind of waiting around for him to just do something. Whereas now that Wonder Woman is the hero, or the one with all the power, Steve Trevor, interestingly enough, is not just a guy waiting around for her. I mean, he actually is taking missions.
He's probably going to be the one to get rescued by her.
Well, he does in the trailer there,
Sure.
but I mean, he's also running missions. Like you see him. I mean, like the plane. There was like a sequence there with a plane. I think that's him flying it. I mean, he's also doing missions alongside her, not just being the love interest.
Does he always stay human, or is he eventually
he's
like
a
a hero? Later?
No,
What
I
are they
think-
doing with him lately in the comics? I've heard rumors.
I don't know about New 50, but he's always been.
Yeah, he's always just been like the love interest.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, this is 1918, and she's currently still the same age in Justice League. I don't know if he dies or he's hanging out with Bucky in the
Right,
stasis chamber.
he's kind of like the Peggy Carter, you know.
Yes, he's kind of like the Peggy Carter, almost exactly, because Peggy Carter
That's a
was
great
also a
parallel.
badass.
I like
She
that.
was a fighter. She was an agent. Yeah, she's very similar to that. Yeah, for sure.
If you're there, first impressions of the trailer, what do you think?
I liked it. I definitely liked the cinematography of it. The like when you film, when you make a movie and it's supposed to be Mexico type of feeling, you get a yellow hue to the film, and this had that real nice dark aged 300 kind of feel to it,
Distinctly European.
Yeah, and it felt really nice and accurate to the time. I love the visual aspects of it. Again, halfway through it, I was immediately thought, it's like, oh wow, here's it's Wonder Woman, wow. But you don't have that pre-shot at the beginning like you do of every Marvel trailer of the
Right.
of the
Logo.
Yeah, the logo that tells you.
Yeah, so you go into this trailer. Half the time at the beginning, I thought it might have been Xena because she had a similar demeanor and outfit, and it could have gone either way, honestly.
Well, Xena is patterned on Wonder Woman.
With cinema now. But when it finally went through like the deflecting of the bullets and I didn't know that her time actually started back in World War I. So it was once it finally got to it, it's like, you know what, this can actually go somewhere. It's going to have some substance to it. It looks like it's going to be a longer film, so it's going to have some nice, I guess, potential for sequels. And it's really cool because if DC is holding true versus the Marvel, then this film will have a lot more to it, and it should draw a completely similar yet different demographic. And it looks like that's what this movie was doing. It might have stayed away from your traditional poor guy becomes a hero that we can all rally behind, and this is just like a whole new other story. Otherwise, I don't think they would have tackled Wonder Woman, because as a young man or a child or a teenager growing up, Wonder Woman was never on my interest to read. Like, I never cared what she was up to. So for them to go into it now, like, this must be a really good movie.
Yeah, because I think around your time, it should have been the George Perez days, right?
Well, Wonder Woman was still a show, you know?
But in the comics, but in the comics, no, you weren't reading the comics.
No, not Wonder Woman.
Yeah, George Perez, I think, was
after
drawing.
Crisis.
Yeah, when I read DC, I stayed mainstream with Batman and Robin and Death of the Family, a little bit of Green Lantern, a little bit of, DC. I was more of a Marvel guy. But I want to say also that was probably just because it was more popular, and I didn't, maybe I was peer pressured, but I couldn't really understand, I guess, what DC was trying to do. So to come out with this, for it to be DC, for it to be Wonder Woman, I think that they really, really put their best foot forward, and it's going to surprise a lot of people.
I know, but I think, going based on some of the DC movies in the past, each, like, going back to Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad, I think most people had a high expectation of the DC movie, and unfortunately, some people didn't agree with those movies. Obviously, they hated those movies. So I think we have high hopes for this movie too, and let's just hope it lives up to everybody's expectations.
When you saw the trailers for Suicide Squad, were you like this pumped? Did you think that the filming looked this good? Because this looks nice. This
definitely does have a different feel to it than the others.
You could almost more pop.
You could almost remove the superhero character from it, and it would still seem like it'd be a good film.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree totally.
Yeah, I think that the way we perceived the other movies. Remember, this is the first Jeff Johns directed. Jeff Johns is now directing the DCEU. Snyder is now officially...
He's like the Kevin Feige.
Feige. Yeah, he's now the new Kevin Feige. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Feige is essentially the producer that runs... He makes all the decisions in the Marvel movies.
Makes sure the overarching narrative
It has nothing to do with the directors. If a director falls out of line, he's removed instantly, and somebody takes his spot.
Continuity, sort of.
Right. So Feige is essentially the one that says, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. It looks like Jeff Johns... is now the new guy. It was Snyder, sort of, because nobody really knew who was running the DCEU. He did Man of Steel, and then he did BVS, and a lot of people were very disappointed with BVS. I was not one of them. It was not a perfect movie, but I did not hate it. But there were a lot of problems with it.
Jeff Johns, I think, is the perfect guy.
But I think Jeff Johns, and he co-wrote this movie. He co-wrote the script. So
he's going to be invested.
And he is the current... editor, the creative director of DC Comics, like the comic books. So if there's anybody that should be running the movie arm of this...
So this would be the equivalent of Joe Quesada taking lead.
Right.
Sure, right.
Yeah. Well, it's not Joe Quesada anymore. It's Axel Alonso now, I think, who runs Marvel. The comic books.
Right on.
But yeah.
A
like
similar move.
Yeah, like when Joe Quesada was in charge of the comic books in Marvel, and then all of a sudden he stepped in and ran the movies. That's essentially what's happening right now. Jeff Johns stepped in. He is the creative director of the DCEU, and another man is basically the guy that writes the checks. But Johns co-wrote this script, and I think he was brought in to kind of right the ship for people that were not pleased with what Snyder was doing. Snyder was still allowed to finish directing Justice League. I don't know if Snyder's going to continue with anything else. According to Amy Adams, there is a Man of Steel 2 in the works, but we don't know who's directing that. So maybe Snyder may have been pushed out, but we've only seen 2 directors so far.
Of the Flash movie?
And the Flash movie has been I don't know exactly if maybe what they wanted, what DC wanted, and what this guy wanted were, because he's a very indie kind of guy. His movies, and I don't know if anything. Huh?
What was his name?
Kerry Fukujima or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Yeah.
His resume didn't. I don't know. Even when they announced him at the beginning, I don't know that he matched well with this type of movie. And I think they wanted they just wanted something different, and so they kind of passed on him. So I don't know who's going to take over the Flash.
Let's bring him back to. Are you currently collecting Wonder Woman? Because I know you're the only active collector right now. New 52.
I have the books.
Are you reading them, sir?
No, I have not.
He's a scumbag.
But I think the trailer kind of lays the groundwork because I mean, there's got to be that motivation for Wonder Woman to willingly leave Amazon Island behind.
Themyscira.
Themyscira, right? Into the world of man.
Right, man's world.
Man's world. So what's it going to be to be drawn into? Steve Trevor, the Great World War One. I mean, and then for her, I think they kind of tease that where I think she kind of steals the sword and the shield. To
Okay,
escape
so
into
in the
night.
comics, apparently there's a competition, and I was unaware of this, but you tell me because you're the expert here.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a competition to see which Amazonian would leave to go fight on behalf of the Amazons in man's world in this. And she was the one that won the competition.
I think in one version of the origin, sure, but I think in the New 52, I think
she kind of just did it on her
In
own.
retcon.
I think it's retcon. They're trying to justify the motivation for her to leave
Okay.
and to go into the man's
So
world.
okay, so that's probably what Johns is doing here with this one because it doesn't seem like there's a competition. I think she just has a conscious of where she just decides.
Conscientious objector.
Well, I don't know if she's objecting. She's fighting.
Sure.
But I think she feels that maybe if she steps in, she can prevent more deaths.
Right.
I mean, it's a possibility.
But going back, it's a period. It's like Captain America. I mean, because it's in a world in a war setting, and
Yeah.
there's a Peggy.
That would have been a
Carter.
cool crossover.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, obviously, if Steve Trevor's a love interest in World War One, I don't think he would be much alive in the present day.
Unless he's, like I said, in stasis with Bucky.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to for the Wonder Woman? What are your hopes for the Wonder Woman movie?
I think I'm hoping as a DC fan that at least people see that these are good movies. I think that this is the first time that we're actually going to be on a level playing field. One of the things that I've been saying before with DC movies is that everyone knows these characters, so everyone has a preconceived expectation of what Lex Luthor should be, what Joker should be, what Harley should be, and so when we see them on the screen and it's not what we want them to be, we kind of take the movie down. And I think that happened a lot with BVS and to a degree with Suicide Squad with regards to how they portrayed the Joker.
But Wonder Woman has such
man,
a
that was
complex
tough to
origin.
follow.
That's fine, but Wonder Woman is one thing, but we don't know anything. Very few people know anything about her villains. So it's like Dormammu or the other guy from
Casillas.
Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo from Civil War. Nobody knew who that guy was, so they could do whatever they want with him, and it would just be fresh and new. And I think this is the first opportunity DC has with their Dr. Poison. Nobody knows who that is, so they could literally do anything. Dr. Poison is not Lex Luthor. Dr. Poison is not Joker.
Yeah, I think the opportunity here is to turn Wonder Woman from being just a badass who's also a sex symbol into just a badass.
Who happens to be hot.
Yeah, forget that even. I mean,
No, you can't.
just a badass.
Are you looking at the same screen I'm looking? Because she's hot.
I am, and she is. You're not wrong. But I mean, we're getting that character who just sort of transcends the genre of superhero.
Well, she's part of the big three: Batman, Superman,
Yes.
Wonder Woman.
Absolutely, as
But
far as
she's the
DC
one part of the
properties
big three
but
that
she's
nobody
also
knows
the-
anything about.
Yeah, you could literally write anything
I mean, that's
for
the
her
thing.
right now.
No.
And everyone would be cool with it because up until now, she's just been the Linda Carter character. I mean, everybody remembers the show.
Yeah.
Everyone's wondering about this woman.
Oh, you.
No,
Oh,
that's-
you.
Get that-
No,
get that
no.
wondering
I was
about-
already
He
drinking,
was
so
already
I'm
drinking.
So
I'm,
that doesn't
I'm
count.
good.
So essentially, DC was afforded this awesome opportunity
Yeah.
of having a blank slate.
Yeah, it's essentially a blank slate movie-wise.
Yeah, because
I mean, there are
you could
readers and
literally
there are people
pick
that follow
this
it.
up from anywhere
Yes.
in her career
Yeah,
and make a decent movie out of it. But they went period with it, and that was a fucking good choice.
yeah.
Because now we get something that everyone's familiar with, and everyone loves war movies.
Yeah.
You know, these period war movies like really hit home, and then you add that superhero element, and we've got something we can really dig into.
Yeah,
You know,
and
this
if-
could
and
be
who-
like
yeah, and who cares if nobody knows
the
who Dr.
Saving
Poison
Private
is?
Ryan of
Yeah, sure.
the superhero genre. I'm okay with that. I mean, granted, that's sort of what Captain America was going for. It didn't quite hit that mark, but it was pretty fucking close. This is in that same vein. I think DC's trying maybe some of the stuff that they know works. And that's not a bad thing to do. I mean, hell, they're
Stick to the formulaic, right?
they're 0 for 2 right now with their big properties.
Some
Arguably.
arguably,
Sure.
So why not just get a win? Why not just get a win? I mean,
they're just going to be chasing that Dark Knight reception.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a tough one to chase.
Tough.
Though.
That was like
I think,
Dark Knight
yeah.
completely just to me took over every comic movie. Like I remember, like DC, Marvel, what Heath Ledger did. You know,
again, that transcended the genre because that could have easily been just a crime drama.
Yeah.
And you asked me before what I would have given a 10. That was a movie that would
you make Batman just a regular detective
Yeah,
and
that would have
Joker
been
just a crazy criminal.
Holy cow,
that movie works.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie. We've seen it several times, and you just wait for the Joker to come on, and it's like Marvel lacks that in a villain.
The closest thing would be Loki.
We were hoping, right? But I don't. You know, is he
Do you
as
wait for
charming
him?
as the
don't know.
Joker?
He's not as unpredictable.
You know,
Because his motives are pretty straightforward.
You
It's
know,
like,
in an interesting
I
way.
was slighted growing up. Then I find out that I'm not even a member of this family, really.
Yeah, he's
I have
adopted,
a real axe to
right?
grind with how I was raised. I wasn't given anything, and I get why now. It's because I wasn't really one of you, so you were holding me back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you, motherfuckers. Because now I got you. Now I got you.
Yeah, no, and he's gonna wreak his own havoc.
But did you notice with all the talk and all the hate that BVS got, the one character that people were looking forward to seeing on screen was Wonder Woman.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
And it's interesting how you were saying, like, you were watching Dark Knight and you were like, just, okay, when is Joker showing up? When is Joker showing up?
Yeah.
To a degree, that's what Wonder Woman was in BVS, and now it's her movie. So I'm really psyched and excited to see how that dynamic
She
plays out.
absolutely
Well,
stole that ending
stole
fight
it.
Well,
sequence.
plus that could also be viewed as a negative because if it's a Batman versus Superman movie and you're looking forward to Wonder Woman,
No, I'm not saying. I know that movie got raked over the coals, and rightfully so on some respects, wrongfully so on others. Again, I thought people were attacking Lex Luthor, for example, because it wasn't Michael Rosenbaum, or because it wasn't Gene Hackman, or because it wasn't somebody else. Hey, look, they did what they did. Experimental. You know, these guys aren't cookie cutter movies.
Yeah, man, you
they're
gotta
not
bring
formula
it,
movies.
though.
You're gonna try. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But what did work was Gal Gadot, was Wonder Woman. That did work. That was one thing that arguably nobody could find fault with. And so you're taking that one element of a movie that was so divisive, and now she's got her own movie. I mean, it can only go up, I'm thinking.
No,
the
that's
potential.
an
Because
unassailable fact about that
Because
movie.
it's DC, they're gonna bring it, man.
I think so.
I
I
don't
really
think
think-
they would have wasted their time putting out this.
well, I think it's a matter of timing too because it just seems like the women's movement and LGBT and more minorities being heroines or heroes, however you want to say it. It's becoming a lot more prominent now, and I think it's just good timing as well.
And
We can hope so,
Right.
as fans of the industry. You know, we always want it to be hip and hot, and because it creates awareness and it helps our universe grow. But that's why I don't think this will be a failure. I think they know that they got to bring it because I don't think Green Lantern brought it, and
No.
Suicide Squad. You know, it was all that Dark Knight. I don't even know how the third one did. You know, with goddamn, I don't even know the
Dark Knight Rises with Bane.
Yeah, with Bane.
Yeah,
You know, I
that
don't
one
even know
wasn't
how
great.
that one would have
It
done.
was
I know I really enjoyed the Tim Burton ones, but getting back to where we're older and cinematography has changed, and now there's new inspirations in creation. It's bold, not arrogant, but I think they're gonna hit it with this one.
Plus, I think a lot of women are gonna go because women love Wonder Woman, and
They do.
they're gonna be maybe 70% of the audience.
I'm
maybe.
telling
Yeah,
you
and
now,
I don't even think
trust
they're
me, there's
doing
a
it
lot of
just
guys
for
that like
women.
what they're looking at
Well,
too.
true, I agree.
Yeah.
And again, I'm telling you right now, who's 100% totally on board and wants this movie to succeed?
Richard,
Scarlett Johansson,
Oh, why?
because
For a
she
A
she
Black
wants a
Widow
Black
movie.
Widow movie, and Marvel hasn't given
Oh.
her one. And I'm telling you right now, if Wonder Woman can make the kind of movie, because the studios right now are not sure if a female superhero can carry a movie. This would be the first time that we've had a solo superhero female movie.
Catwoman.
And well, that was
a shit show.
That was not. You know, I can't believe
Yeah.
you even brought that up. In the
Well, you
same
got to
conversation.
do it though. You gotta
And
say
it is being directed by a female director, Patty Jenkins. So there's a lot writing just for females in general. I think moving forward.
What did
Yeah,
Patty
you're looking at
Jenkins
the-
direct before?
Well, her biggest claim to fame, I think, is Monster, which gave Charlize Theron her Academy Award.
that
for
was
Best
a
Actress.
crazy flick.
She directed that one, and she also directed
Hurt Locker. Right?
No, that was Catherine Bigelow.
Sorry. Right, you're right.
There was another movie that she directed, but she's a filmmaker. She's already made films that have been nominated for Academy Awards, or at least had elements of those films, performances that were nominated and won Academy Awards.
Yeah, and apparently it looks like every director from this season of Jessica Jones is going to be a female.
I was going to say, yeah. How did
Yes.
when you got Jessica Jones going on,
And that's another great show.
Every episode
on a
is going to
different
feature
medium,
a different female director. I think that's fucking awesome,
Yeah.
man.
and then you have the Netflix advantage where you're not limited with
It's episodic. You get to really see a character grow.
Yeah,
I love that.
So, which is what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. You can.
So I
there's
think
those two things.
this movie definitely. I think everyone's just waiting for this, but I think everyone wants it to. I really do believe everybody wants this movie to succeed.
Well, I think even whether you're a DC fan or a Marvel fan, I think we want this movie to succeed.
Yeah.
'Cause we want good comic book movies.
Yes,
we
do.
You know, whether we're Marvel or DC, especially Wonder Woman. You know, I mean,
Fuck yeah. A strong female character. Give us more of that.
right.
Yeah.
You know, there seems to be this like mentality that this is a boys' club and we only want us in it. But you're wrong. There are nerds who'd be happy to have female fans alongside them at these cons.
The unicorns.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
we
yeah.
petitioned
'Cause
for
that's what you
Mystique
are.
to have her own series.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
The heroines you deserve.
oh, we'll make that happen, man. Shit. I'll find 4 women to take our spots easily. I promise you. I've got a few in mind.
Pete.
Latex only.
Pete's one of them.
Oh, that's so wrong. But no. I dig that this is a thing now. That
Yeah.
I get that people like rebel against it, and like there's the worst elements of us that like don't want it to be a thing. But no, let these people
Do it.
in. These ladies, they love comics every bit as much as we do, and tell me you don't want them at the table with you.
If they're
For
co-
years, we've wanted.
If they're cosplaying,
If
yeah.
you're a nerd, girls to think that we were cool.
your girlfriend or your wife, if they're into comics more so, you know.
Dude,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
bring them into the fold.
Who was the
because that's
number
what
one
we've
Halloween
always wanted.
costume this year?
Harley Quinn.
fucking
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn.
That
Yeah.
is sick, man.
And it wasn't the classic comic costume either. It was the movie costume. Because
oh
Margot
yeah,
Robbie's
Daddy's Little Monster.
Margot Robbie, that's her baby now. I mean, there is no other Harley Quinn.
And
but
there's
her.
going to be a Harley Quinn movie.
There
yeah?
is going to be a Harley Quinn movie. So we'll see how things go, you know. And there are a lot. That's the one thing DC does have going for it.
I, for one, welcome our female overlords.
There are a lot of very strong female characters in DC.
And not
Yeah.
because I think because of that movie, everybody wants to ride a Harley now.
Okay, and on that note,
You see, that's why it's like
This is why you should-
need to
Here's
be
where
able
we
to
get
leave,
kicked off YouTube.
Leave the screen so you can get another beer.
All right, Fidel. So what are
reeling
your
it back in.
what are your final thoughts in regards to this film, the trailer?
I could go and watch it, and I could enter it the same way I would have Doctor Strange, not knowing anything, and go for it for its entire entertainment value. Automatically by the trailer, even if it would have been named something else, I would have wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Now that it's something related to a universe that I have interest in, it's definitely a bonus to it. And then again, I think that they're going to bring it because it's a female character, and I'm not talking shit to DC, but to me it is like second to Marvel, arguably. You know, so when
That's fair to say.
when DC is coming out, they're supposed to be bringing their best efforts forward, and I think that that's what they'll do with this.
All right, Richard.
I agree. I think this is the put up or shut up movie for DC.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say that because
She's a woman.
I'm just saying this is the movie where
Why we put it on her, and if they fail, it's
it
'cause
just
you're
is.
a female.
It just is,
Yeah?
and it's
You
interesting.
know, some people are going to say that.
And it's interesting though that again, like I
Possibly.
said before, she was one of the bright spots of BVS, and I think she can handle it. I think Wonder Woman is one of the big three of DC Comics, and I think she earns the recognition that she deserves.
She definitely deserves a movie.
Yes, she is one of the. She is the one of
The
the most
Trinity,
powerful.
one of the Trinity.
I mean, that's it. I mean, everybody. If you mention Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, everybody knows. Everybody on Earth knows
The
who those
DC
three characters
Holy
are.
Yeah, they'll
Trinity,
name her before they
100%.
can name a Marvel
Yes.
heroine.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think now this movie is going to just make everybody see what she really is about,
Potential.
and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a victory
Cool.
for sure.
Mike, final thoughts.
I want to parrot a lot what they said because I feel like there's a lot riding on this. This can either cement DZ as
The also rans.
what's that?
The also rans.
Exactly. Or really just catapult them forward. Like, yeah, we're fucking here.
Yeah.
Look at what we can make if you let us. Like, just get out of our way. We'll make something good. Don't give a shit, and we're gonna make something you like. Just stop wanting to hate us. This might erase all of that. This has the potential to do it, or give everyone the excuse they've needed to shit on the property that they've always wanted. I mean, people are gonna watch these films with an agenda one way or the other. We had our long discussion on how there's an inherent bias, and everyone looks for their confirmation on it. You know, everyone wants to think that their opinion's correct.
Yeah.
If their opinion walking into this movie is that a female-led superhero movie is going to fail, they're going to find their answer no matter what. If they're walking into it as a comic book fan, hoping that this is awesome because they want to see more of it, they're going to be pleased with it because all the elements for it are there. We have a period piece. We have superheroes involved. We have Chris Pine. Did I get it right? We have Gal Gadot,
pretending like we don't know,
and also apparently a good actor with a great accent. Nothing to hate from what we've seen in the trailer. Nothing but good shit to look forward to. Hopefully, we get what we hope for.
Right, and I think I want it to succeed, and again, everyone has high hopes for the movie, but it's got a lot going for it because I compare it to Captain America because of the period piece, and Thor because of all the Greek mythology.
Right.
So you're combining
you're
combining those two movies to make a movie that mainstream America is going to understand and hopefully like.
Yeah, fantasy plus period. Yeah. I mean, it's got all the pieces it needs.
Yeah, I mean, well, DC started it, so maybe this is
true.
the culmination of all of it coming back around.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, this movie is only 5 months removed from Justice League, which comes out in November of 2017. So there is a lot riding on DC on these two movies. Wonder Woman drops in June, and Justice League comes out in November.
A lot of pressure.
So this movie does have to succeed, but based on what I've seen in the two trailers,
here's the best part of that it comes out in June. People's fantasy, glands will have been like activated by Game of Thrones' premiere.
That's true. You're right. So Game of Thrones is also premiering.
That's a great thing for this movie because the fantasy genre salivary glands will have been completely
They're ready
stimulated.
for that. Yeah. That's
I
climax
like being stimulated by Gal Gadot.
I'm sorry?
I like being stimulated by Gal Gadot.
And we lose all the women now.
Yes. What?
Sorry, girls. Come back.
Sorry, Mrs. Vega.
She's out there somewhere.
Oh, she's out there somewhere. All right, so I guess that's it for...
Swipe right, ladies.
Look for me on Tinder. All right, so that does it for our Wonder Woman episode. Thank you very much. And I'm Henry.
I'm Mike.
I'm Dick.
Fidel.
So thank you very much, and see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.